the priests in the rectory. As soon as Kurog arrives, we kill them all. How did you get in here? No matter. You'll be dead in a moment.
Chief Bosrog said to leave one of you alive to tell Kurog what happened here. The rest of you, time to die.
Please,
Kurog's people
there's no need
alive.
for this
Kill
insanity.
them all!
Just leave us alone! Thank you for helping us. I thought they were going to kill us.
I've never known fear like this.
I don't know how to thank you. These fanatics, they beat us, threatened us. They told us they were going to kill us as soon as the king or his soldiers showed up. But you got in without alerting them. You saved us. The others, though... High Priestess Solgra and our brothers and sisters in Trinimac. The fanatics gathered us up and forced us in here. But Solgra, she isn't one to put up with such nonsense. She put a blade into one of them and ran into the back to help the others. I have the key. I'll open the door for you. Find the others, please. I don't know what Solgra planned to do, but she had that look in her eyes when the fanatics started hurting our people. Solgra and the others should be somewhere through this door. I'll find a way to open the main temple doors and let the soldiers in. Good luck.
There's trouble afoot.
Fear grips my heart. All is not well.
Get her! Don't let her escape!
I'll die before I let you hurt the others!
Orders be damned! You're going to die for that, priestess!
One? I plan to kill a dozen more if you don't leave my temple now! Thank you for that. I thought I could handle them, but the odds got a little overwhelming. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine once I catch my breath. Just got the wind knocked out of me a little, that's all. Not exactly. They claimed to be devoted followers of Malakath, and said they were working for Chief Basrag. They caught us by surprise, threatened us. Did you run into Ugus? How are he and the others faring? Well, that puts my mind at ease. I hated leaving them, but the others back here needed help too. But I'm still not completely certain what the attackers hoped to accomplish. Why take us hostage? Why not simply kill us and be done with it? Spill the blood of innocents and blame the king for their deaths, for not being able to protect his people. What a fiendish scheme. But the king sent you in his stead. Very astute on his part. That decision may have saved many lives. We were supposed to assume they were Malakath devotees, but they didn't seem particularly religious to me. Even I don't believe Malakath would sanction a slaughter such as this. They mentioned Chief Basrag, though. Said he gave them their orders. I've always found the chief to be noble, but it doesn't take a lot to change a person. His forts ravaged, his traditions threatened. I can see how such things could lead to this. The king and the Forge Mother must be told what happened here.
You won't hurt me, will you? This is the last of them! Let's finish these bastards off!
Split up!
That was the last of the fanatics! Your help in this matter is appreciated, but it felt good to run a feud through myself! Forge Mother Alga waits for you outside. She would confer with you about all that happened here today. One of the priests finally managed to open the temple doors. It appears that you had the situation mostly well in hand from what I can see.
Your timely arrival was a blessing from Trinimac, outsider. The Forge Mother promises that our temple will never again be a target for hatred and persecution. Next time, we'll be prepared.
I'm glad to see you and the priest alive. I believe things may have played out very differently if you hadn't agreed to my plan. But what of the High Priestess? Is Solgra all right? That is good news indeed. I will make sure that a military contingent protects this temple going forward. It will not be left undefended again. Increased patrols around the perimeter, soldiers assigned to guard the inside of the temple. The priests will not have to live in fear of another attack, not so long as my son is king. I assume you know who claimed responsibility for this? Bosrog has never agreed with Kurog. He made threats in the throne room, as I'm sure you heard. Besides, his boldness and devotion to Malakath are legendary. It appears Bosrog wishes to challenge our king. My son needs to solidify his hold on the clans. All of the chiefs must accept Kurog as their king for the betterment of the Orsimer people. If we gain support of the clans, we can stop Bosrog without inciting an all-out war. You have done much already. Many lives were in danger, yet somehow you managed to make sure none were lost. Please, take this, for being so careful with my people and keeping their safety in mind. We will find you again when the king needs you. Solbra, my child, come join us. Are you injured? Should I call a healer?
Thanks to our friend, I am well and ready to serve.
Yes, our call for assistance has already proven to be a more than worthwhile endeavor.
Thank you again for saving the temple priests. I don't even want to imagine how things might have turned out without your intervention. I look forward to talking to you again under better circumstances.
There you are. I have another message for you from the king. There you are. Guess what? I have another message for you from the king. It's wonderful to see you again, my friend, but I really wish the king would find someone else to serve as a messenger. I have so many other talents that could greatly benefit Orsinium. I have no idea. Although I did hear something or other about a moot of some kind. I suppose the best way to find out is to go and see the king. In the throne room, up at the keep. Hopefully he won't be in too foul of a mood when you get there. He seemed out of sorts when I told him this was the last message I was going to deliver. Either he finds something else for me to do, or I'm leaving.
Daughter. She told my Koskra she could marry whoever she wanted. Tradition be damned.
Isn't that what the king wants? Toss out the old and in with the new?
Can you imagine the chaos? Sometimes I don't know what the king is thinking.
You again? Well, if you're here to help, then talk to my king. His new idea sounds reckless to me, but my husband has survived reckless more than once since I've been at his side.
Ah, my friend and ally has returned. Let's talk. I heard what you did at the temple. Your efforts no doubt saved countless lives. It pains me to learn that Chief Bosrog was involved, though. Bosrog's never agreed with my plans. He's a traditionalist, stubborn and old-fashioned to the end. His unwavering devotion to Malekith, his hatred of Trinimec, his refusal to recognize my authority. I'd say Chief Bosrog is getting desperate. Bosrog wants to start a war. Damn it all to oblivion, we'll have to stop him. He has the strength to overwhelm the lesser clans, and he's no suckling cub when it comes to fighting either. If he were to make a challenge for my throne... It's time to assemble the Great Moot. I want you to visit the clan chiefs that still haven't come around to our way of thinking. Talk some sense into them. You need to get to them before Bosrog poisons the well and turns them against me. You made an impression already, but don't worry. I'm not expecting them to come just because you asked nicely. The chiefs are stubborn, but they each have a problem that's confounding their clan. Solve their problems, and they'll attend the moot. Now you get it. Help the chiefs, and they'll be obligated to accept your invitation. I've tried to convince the chiefs of Tumnash, Morkel, and Shatul to join my kingdom. I even married a few of their daughters. We need a better solution. Tell them that you come to help in the name of King Kurog, that I'm hosting a gathering of clans, and I want the chiefs to attend. And it needs to be the clan's chief that comes to the moot. If they try to send a subordinate, I'll be highly insulted. Do whatever it takes. The chiefs must attend the moot. I trust you won't fail me. When this is over, Wrothgar will finally be forged into a united kingdom. Meet me at my corner club after you finish. All this planning has given me a powerful thirst. More? What more is there to say? They refuse my every overture and laugh at my authority. We need to convince them of the veracity of my grand vision. Oh, very well. What specifically do you want to know? The stoneworkers?
Tumnosh operates the Greystone Quarry, the primary source of building materials for Orsinium. I'm not sure what Chief Ramash is up to, but he's fallen behind on his shipments. Maybe you can help get the quarry back on track. The Morkel clan is famous for its smiths. Some of the finest arms and armor has come out of their forges. I've been trying to get them to send experts to help us build the city, but Chief Abzug continues to hem and haw. Family troubles, he says. One of the best clans as far as food production and livestock is concerned. Expert hunters and farmers, every one of them. Chief Ogzor promised to send herds of Icharters to help feed the city, but we haven't seen so much as a bushel of apples yet.
destroyed it. Forgive me for tracking you. I just had to know. I needed to see for myself. To watch you end it. To show Malakath we are not his playthings. Ha! That it was. Let Malakath gaze upon you. Let him see you are strong enough to deny the will of a Daedric prince. May he never forget. I'll return to my tribe. The Hagravens will sense their search as hopeless. Perhaps we can finally go home. I should think so. I never touched the relic. They won't know my part in this. Not once. The tribe is home. It's family. We have our differences, but I can't imagine abandoning them. Sometimes I wonder if the Hagravens take that from our thoughts. But not for long. Who truly understands the mind of a Daedric prince? They care little for what we do, even when it foils their schemes. For all we know, you've pleased him. Yes? What about it? Not exactly. It's harder than steel. Powerful distraction in a fight, for those who think it a weakness. Unbearably. I often wake to buzzing and fluttering in my chest, with the occasional nibbling. I have to jump into ice-cold water, then wait for all the beetles to boil out of my chest. It's unpleasant. It's no trouble. I get these questions all the time, even in my own tribe.
This is a private matter. I must tend to my son.
I should have been at my husband's side. He'd still be alive, and I'd still be his hunt wife. Well, look upon my husband and weep, for his next journey is to the Ashen Forge. Perhaps a new chief will deal with Kurog's latest nonsense. Until then, leave us to our misery.
Rotten luck, Chief. Rotten luck. Don't see many new faces at Chateau Range. Our only neighbors are surly giants. Speaking of which, Chief Ogzor had a nasty encounter with a giant's club a short while ago. Best keep your voice low. We don't know how much time he has left. Dying. No amount of healing magic can fix smashed brains. Soon as he goes, Chateau is in for dark times. The clan will tear itself apart without a good contender for chief. I want to prevent that. We know which giant smashed the chief. I want to return the favor. That'll show the clan I'm a good contender, which would help keep the clan together. Thing is, I'm no tracker. Care to help me find the bastard? I have a few words to say to Chief Ogzor's mother. I'll meet you where Urkael the Cleaver's tracks begin. Don't know why we call him that. He carries a club. I don't really know. Most giants are surly enough. Urkael the Cleaver, we've come to learn, is a mean drunk. Once, he tore off an Echater's crest and tossed it across the snow like he was skipping a stone. Heard they found it in Farin's stronghold. You're right. Only made it 100 paces before it slammed into a tree. Took half a day to saw that bloody crest out. We tried to reattach the thing, but the Echater wanted nothing to do with it. Most of Chateau's warriors died in the first Winterborn raids. Without a good contender for chief, neighbor will fight neighbor for a title they can't hope to hold. We can't afford that, after losing so much to the raiders. Truth is, everyone's afraid. The chief kept this clan together for 2 decades. A strong contender will quiet their nerves. Slaying the giant who killed Chief Ogzor? None will doubt my strength. You want me to quote the Code of Malekith? Go on about vengeance and grudges? I've had my fill of that. Something I learned around all these Echater. The ones who bray the loudest never lead the pack. Someone whose actions speak loudest. Someone like Chief Ogzor. Yes, I want to be chief. I spent 2 decades watching this clan prosper under his guidance. I'm not relaxed. I just wasn't willing to kill my best friend for his clan. Contenders for chief fight it out in the Bloody Knoll. It's our shrine to Malekith, up on the hill. He who emerges as chief. Simple as that. Well, of course. That's how it's always been. Never thought about it any other way. I suppose it's possible. Still, I wouldn't wish that on any woman. She'd face constant challenge. Whispers behind her back, bitter sulking, the petty disrespects you expect from children, but all from grown orcs who should know better. We travel where the Echater travel. Can't say it'd be good if the chief was stuck here defending him, herself, I mean. I wouldn't want to put my clan through that, but that's me.
Winter on the range, it's almost poetic. The stillness, the quiet, the cold fit to freeze your fingers off. Does, doesn't it? My great-grandfather chose the spot. Far away from everything. Plenty of trees, game. We drive the Echeters to pasture in warm months,
and corral them up here in the winter. This winter's likely to be colder than most. Live on the land as long as I have. You learn to read the signs. The herd is restless, the wildlife flees, and the giants. Well, I think all this snow gets to them sometimes.
Dark times ahead for Shatul. I can't contend for Chief. It will take me away from the Echater.
The chief is no more. Leave me to mourn my husband.
All right, let's find
Someday we'll build a proper forge at this site. I'll have more to do than watch icicles form on my nose.
Yazara? Yazara! She's out. Listen, we both know you're the one who avenged the chief. Happy I could land a few good smacks. I'll tell Yazara when she's back. You deserve the credit. That's up to the clan. I'm only doing it because Shatul needs a chief. Can't say I enjoy staking a claim while my friend is dying in that tent. I'm not so sure I want to be chief again. Small clan. Our stronghold let Shatul camp there in the summers, in return for choicest pick of a Chater. Chief Ogzor wanted to strengthen the bond by marrying away his daughter. Ashruka was to be my hunt wife, but that didn't happen. Ashruka refused to be traded like the choicest pick of a Chater. She chose exile rather than marry me. A month later, raiders from the Reach wiped out my whole clan. Chief Ogzor took me in. Don't really know. Shatul tries not to talk about its exiles. Chief Ogzor forbade anyone from speaking of her. I think he blamed himself for pushing her away. After her mother died, Ushruka and her father were always at odds. It was inevitable. No, I've always respected how Ushruka held her ground, and I wasn't too keen on the match. I'd known her since she was a child, so going from Uncle Lorig to husband, we call that a Valenwood marriage. But don't let a wood orc hear you say it. Never. Chief Ogzor knew I'd consider that a dishonor after what he'd done for me, and Shatul needed my muscle. It wasn't charity, if that's what you're thinking. Chief Ogzor's mother, Shatul's wise woman, though she hates it when we call her that. It falls to her to select the candidates for chief, and she's right over there. Yazara, look! I cut this off her Kale the Cleaver. My friend here struck the killing blow.
Impressive, Lorig. Why don't you show the others?
Sound advice, as always.
Come closer. We should speak. You avenged my son. I will not forget what you did for Shatul today, nor will the clan. If you are willing, I have need of someone so capable. If Shatul is to survive, there must be a new chief. Lorig is one contender. The other is Ulgesh. I want you to meet him. Ulgesh returned from Orsinium shortly after my son's injury. He declared himself a contender, but I'm not sure why. The boy never had brains or ambition. Serving in the Orsinium Guard was my son's suggestion. Shatul needs a chief who looks out for the clan before himself. We have no walls to hide behind, only our wits and our skill herding a Chater. If Ulgesh has neither, I need to know. I sent him after Scamper, our laziest at Chater. Ulgesh can explain the task. He's never been talkative, but see what you can learn as you aid each other. I'll want to speak with you when you return.
Who are you? I don't need your help. Wait. With your help, this will go faster. Yazara asked for a snow truffle. This lazy beast can sniff it out. But it's a two-person job. I can't keep Scamper and hunt for a snow truffle. No clue. A potion, maybe? You scout ahead, find a truffle patch. Give a whistle. I'll send Scamper your way. Scamper will sniff the patch. If there's a snow truffle, he'll dig it up. You grab it and bring it to Yazara. Got it? Scamper is fast asleep. Give him a good kick to wake him. Near boulders or trees. Lots of them between here and Shatul. It's why they camp here in the winter. I lived in Orsinium for years. Sometimes I forget Shatul is home. Just find the snow truffle. It's cold out here. Damn, no snow truffle. lose your nose, Scamper. I think you found one. Scamper earned some sleep. Let's get back to Shatul. We should get back to Shatul. Yazara needs the snow truffle. I think you found one. Get that snow truffle to Yazara. And thanks. I won't forget your help.
Did you find Olgesh? Good. Give it here. Olgesh passed my test. Scamper has always required 2 people to wrangle. For Olgesh to send you back with the snow truffle tells me he learned to master his temper. Lorig and Olgesh are the only clear contenders for Chief. They must enter the Bloody Knoll and duel beneath the stern gaze of Malakath. The one who emerges shall be the new Chief of Shatul. Only an Orc can become Chief of Shatul, or of any Orc clan. I can't say it any simpler than that. I have not forgotten what you did for us. On behalf of Shatul, I name you Bloodkin. You shall always have a place among us. I already sent Lorig to the Bloody Knoll. Could you inform Olgesh he is to fight? I would do so, but I must attend to my son. Olgesh should be at his tent. And thank you for the snow truffle, Bloodkin. Sometimes the smallest favors are hardest to repay. It was my son's favorite food. His hearthwife. She has dozens of recipes. He loved them all. He won't be able to taste it. His mind, you see, there's nothing left of him. But I'll mix it into the poison so he enjoys it one last time. The poison I shall feed the husk that remains of his body. No, it is me, murdering my own son. Shatul must survive. Before a new chief is chosen, the old chief must die. By the time Lorig and Olgesh reach the Bloody Knoll, the poison will finish its work. Malakath will take no offense. There is no shame in that. You are not an Orc. You are not of Shatul. But you are bloodkin to our clan. Know that it must be done, and that only I can carry this burden. Shatul must survive.
You were the one who helped Lieutenant Fairfax
Over
and
here.
the guard at Hinnell
We
Farm.
need to talk.
You have my thanks.
You looked different from inside Olgesh's helmet. Ushruka, exiled daughter of Chief Ogzor. Soon the new chief of Shatul. A merchant friend keeps me informed of Shatul. When she brought word of my father's injuries, I had to return and contend for chief. Shatul must survive. As an exile, I'm not allowed to enter Shatul. But Ulgesh is no exile. I traded him a new set of armor for his old, then returned to my clan. My own grandmother couldn't tell the difference. The real Ulgesh has a squeak in his voice. One day he paid Morkel's forge wife to make him sound like an ogre. He always wore the helmet everywhere he went. It still smells like sweaty breeches and onions. I cleaned it 3 times. Nothing worked. Have you been to Orsinium? The king hammers away at traditions which keep orcs locked in squalid strongholds. He tempers us, forges us into something new, something better. I will become chief of Shatul, and in a decade, it will become tradition. Some won't.
They may challenge me, and I'll have to kill them. But when any other clan clucks about the Code of Malakath, Shatul will band together as we always do. We'll triple their rate on a charter, a built-in blood price for the disrespect. I think we'll get rich off the Malakath zealots. That will make the king happy. And if he asks me to be his chief wife, I'll decline. But I'll offer him the chance to be my king husband. Lorig is a fine warrior, better than my father. But that's the problem. He never challenged my father. He's like an Achater bull that refuses to mate no matter how much ginger pulp you feed him. I haven't thought about that in years. He was always Uncle Lorig to me. Taught me how to play chop. Always called me Little One, even when I was nearly his height. I looked up to him. Then Father insisted I become his hunt wife. Lorig's heart was never in the match, but refusing would have led to a feud. Father was insufferable. A chief's daughter must bear the clan's burdens. But children are a burden I don't ever plan to bear. Not for the clan, not for anyone. Now I head to the Bloody Knoll. There I will kill Lorig and become chief of Shatul. For this to work, my grandmother must know my intentions. Inform her